We are live back here, Radio Row. LA is where we are, and we've been having a lot of guests come through here. We have yet another guest joining us, Miss Tracy Sandler, host of the Tracy Sandler Show on the Believe Podcast Network, and she's also the founder and CEO of Fangirl Sports Network. Tracy, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk to you guys.
Very excited to talk to you as well. What brings you to Radio Row this year?
Well, I just stumbled on it. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, oh, this looks fun. No. A few things. I covered the 49ers. So I've been talking a lot about Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo with off-season needs and almost getting to the Super Bowl again. I have the podcast, as you mentioned, the Tracy Sandler Show on Believe, and I'm also the founder and CEO of Fangirl Sports Network, and we are a digital media company, and our content focuses a little bit more on the female fan. So we do a lot of highlighting work in the community, going beyond the field, obviously analysis, game breakdowns, but we like to go a little beyond the field, highlight women in the industry. I have another podcast called Get My Job, where we sit down every week with some women in the industry to talk about any obstacles, advice she has, and that's kind of our plan.
Love it. Now, obviously, women in the industry were a little bit outnumbered.
Yes.
So tell me what it means to you to be a woman in sports.
Well, I grew up loving sports. I mean, really loving from the time I was just a little kid. Just loved it. I love watching football. I love watching basketball. I love watching baseball. So to be working in it is kind of everything to me, and I just love being a part of something where I think we're becoming more and more prominent in the industry. We certainly are outnumbered, but progress is being made, still a lot of work to be done, and so just to be able to be a part of that and to be a role model for young girls who can look at us and say, well, if they can do that, I can do that, because that's what I did when I was a kid. I saw people on TV and I was like, oh, I mean, I can do that, I can do that, and so that's
Absolutely. Now, this is my second year here, so I'm kind of a newbie.
Okay.
Super Bowl. What advice do you have for me? I know one of the things when I walk in, it can be a little bit overwhelming, especially this year. This year was a totally different experience than it was last year during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some keys or advice that you have for me of like getting myself together, staying confident in front of the camera, and not having that? Oh my goodness.
Well, I think at the end of the day, like your preparation, your work speaks for itself. So if you're prepared, which I can tell already you are, then your work is already going to speak for itself. But we all have our moments, especially when you look around here and you see people like, oh my gosh, it's so-and-so, oh my gosh, it's so-and-so, and we're all in the same place doing the same thing. But I would say, think about that. Like, here you are in the same place as all these other people doing your thing and doing it well. And so always remembering that and giving yourself, this is just my Super Bowl advice that I learned my first Super Bowl week, give yourself a beat, even if it's like 10 minutes a day for you to breathe, have a cup of coffee, go for a walk, and just like recenter, because it can be overwhelming. And it's also one of those weeks where you don't want to say no to everything, say yes to everything. So try to find that. I hate the word balance because I don't think it's like it really exists, but try to find that balance for yourself.
Absolutely. And one controversial thing that's been going on lately is critiquing women's outfits, women in sports, their outfits on camera, how they conduct themselves. So how do you go about putting your swag on your presentation and still staying within that range?
Well, I think at the end of the day, it's all how we feel comfortable. And no one is criticizing what a male wears, no matter what he wears. So a male sportscaster, let's be honest, could come on in shorts and a tank top and no one would say a word. So I think at the end of the day, for all of us women and people generally, is what are we comfortable in? How do we feel our best? And beyond that, that's all that matters. It's like not dressing because you think you should dress in a certain way, but how do you feel you're most comfortable, most confident? And then beyond that, what anybody says is none of their business.
And elaborate a little bit more on Fangirl Network.
Okay. So I started as a 49ers fan girl because I grew up a 49ers fan, and I grew up loving sports and didn't really feel like there was content that spoke to women. So I wanted to create a place that empowered women to really be whatever fans they wanted to be. So if you were the casual fan who just really liked the lifestyle aspect of sports and did fantasy football and just kind of enjoyed it, great, this is the place for you. If you're a diehard fan that like knows everything, this is also the place for you. And so that's really what it became about. And so very much about empowering women, highlighting women, and having fun with sports. Like, I think there was always this prevailing thing that either you knew everything about sports, or you were a girly girl who didn't know the difference between a basketball and a football. And that's just not the case. And it's okay to be a female who loves sports, but also wants to look good on game day, wants to have a healthy recipe to tailgate, wants to know more about what the players are doing in the community, wants to know more about off the field stuff. There's no reason you can't be both. And so I wanted to create a place where it was just totally fun.
Absolutely. How can we tap into Fangirl?
Like, where can you find us and stuff? All right, so our website, I throw a lot of things to you guys. So here's what I'm going to say first and foremost. If you go to Instagram at Fangirl Sports, it will take you everywhere else you want to go. But tsn.com and at Fangirl Sports on Twitter, and then yes, everywhere. That Instagram though will take you to all the places.
We definitely have you coming out with us today.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
All right, that's Miss Tracy Sandler, host of the Sandler Show on the Believe Podcast Network. We'll be right back here on Radio Row with more guests before Super Bowl 56.
So